All right, guys, what's going on? My name is Nibs Plays Games, and as you know, we are ATX VGC, and this is Monday Night Friendlies, and I am blurred the heck out right now. Alongside me tonight is Rollercoaster. How you doing, Rollercoaster?
Hello. Hold up, my hand's not fully appearing. I have to wave in front of my body, or I blend in with Wanda and Vision. This is it's a masterpiece of visual aid. It's WandaVision, starring Wanda Maximoff, the Vision, and also me now.
There we go.
Don't let them censor you, Nibs.
All right, so here tonight in our fourth set this evening, we have Chloe versus Real HJJN, and Chloe is going to be using one of my favorite combinations here, and something I've been using for the last few weeks is Solgaleo and Spectrier. Alongside of those two Pokemon is going to be Porygon 2, the best Pokemon in all of Pokemon, Grimmsnarl, Galarian Moltres, and Tapu Fini.
Yeah, this is the Pato team that he got to number one on the ladder real early. It's a solid team. I like it a lot. I love Solgaleo, so I'm excited to see it. And Real has Vulpix, not Ninetales, Vulpix, Lowland Sandshrew, Comfey, another Moltres, and then we got double horses with Calyrex, ShadowRider, and Glacier.
Yeah, I guess in some sense we're also seeing a Spectre mirror, but one of the Spectre's minds has been taken over by a Calyrex.
And we almost get a 4 shiny lead with shiny Sandslash, Vulpix, Solgaleo, and unfortunately shiny Spectre does not exist legally in game, or no doubt Chloe would definitely have one.
Oh my goodness, I bet she would. She's got all the shinies probably ever.
But I mean, right now, this looks like a solid chance to just do the classic bulldoze and then attack whatever you want. What do you think, Nibs?
I don't see any reason not to. It's going to take super effective damage into the Sandslash, as it is a steel type. I don't think the ice type resists it. Is that correct? I think it's super effective still.
So the steel resists the steel, and then ice is weak to steel, so it's just neutral. And then also it has Quake as well, so yeah, it doesn't resist ground, so yeah, it's still super effective damage. And Sandslash, I've tried it a couple of times out, super frail, does not like taking any hits at all.
Unfortunately, it is a really cool design Pokemon, and unfortunately I think it also needs to have the Swords Dance support in order to attack things like crazy, unless you just give it a choice band, and then that's just a built-in Swords Dance anyway. So we're going to see the Solgaleo Dynamax here for Chloe, and it is going to be a Quake coming out right away, and I imagine this Solgaleo is going to take that really well, and it kind of does. It does about 30-35% to the Solgaleo, probably proccing Weakness Policy in the meantime. I haven't seen it yet, so...
Yeah, there it goes. Yeah, and this Solgaleo is gonna probably obliterate one of these two. Even though the Real ended up proccing Chloe's Weakness Policy, I still like the idea to go for the Bulldoze just in case they choose not to do it. It also gets you speed control and breaks any potential sash on either side of the field.
Yeah, so in the ice, we're going to see it. Let me say this first. We're going to see a Max Quake come out from the Solgaleo, and that doesn't look like it got the KO. Into the Sandslash, as it is Dynamax, so it is doubled in health, but the Aurora Veil wasn't set up yet by this Vulpix, so still pretty impressed. I mean, this Solgaleo is at +2. If you ask me, that should have been enough to KO.
I'm genuinely surprised that Sandslash survived. It's pretty good, but Sandslash, I think it's only base 65 speed, which I believe at the -1 means that the Spectrier should now outspeed it. So you have a pretty easy Shadow Ball the Sandslash, and you get a Grimnay, and then Steel Spike the Vulpix, you get a defense boost and another KO, and the Aurora Veil is definitely not going to save you.
Oh man, I don't know what Real would do in that situation, but I think that you are absolutely right. That's the way that you want to play this. That you mentioning that is that's how you want to play Spectre these days. You want to get something super close. Unfortunately, I think that was targeted at the incorrect target. That should have been at the Sandslash. And the Quake is going to come out from the Sandslash, going into that Solgaleo once again, bringing it down to 133 HP in Dynamax. We're going to see that super effective damage output, and the Spadef boost is going to come from both of these Pokemon. And a Steel Spike is going to come out from the Solgaleo, targeting down that Vulpix. So double targeting that that Vulpix is kind of surprising there. You'd think that you'd want to get that Grim Nay boost from the Spectrier and also get rid of the Dynamax into something that hits reasonably hard, you know?
Yeah, that may have been a prediction of like a max guard on the Sandslash, seeing how low it was and the speed did go to the Spectier. The only thing that I would personally be scared of is now that the ShadowRider has potential to come in, it will outspeed both of Chloe's Mont and has the potential to get a double KO, even though it's because Solgaleo's low, even though it has a special defense boost, and Spectier it's just kind of frail in general. So that'd be the scariest thing to me. Yeah, here comes the Calyrex.
Yeah, so the ShadowRider does come out, and we're going to see the abilities come out as one, and that's going to bring the Unnerve ability and the Grim Nay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I really think that Astro Barrage just gets a double KO right now. And I don't entirely know, like, you have to choose to max guard something, and then if Moltres is in the back, it can clean up the game from there. But it is very scary.
Yes, so Real choosing to attack here and just going for that Astral Barrage. And as you mentioned, that does more than enough to KO both of these Pokemon here in this situation. So Real kind of falling back there for a quick second, losing the Vulpix, getting kind of set up there with the Alolan Sandslash, and we're going to see the Grim Nay come out. So it's going to go to +2, actually. And Chloe losing her front line. So we're going to see what she's got in the back here, and it's 2 to 3 here.
Yeah, it is kind of scary right now. I think your best bet is that Moltres is faster than the Sandslash at -1, which I'm not entirely sure if it is, seeing as how Moltres is on the slower side. But if Moltres can survive what is potentially a double up this turn of an Icicle Crash and potentially a Draining Kiss, maybe a Hyper Beam, or maybe just going for another Astro Barrage. It's at +2 now, which is super scary. I think Moltres just needs to get a Fiery Wrath off, and then Chloe will be in a fine position.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Do you think a +2 Calyrex Shadow is going to be enough to KO a Moltres in this situation? I mean, you have to go for a Fiery Wrath if you're Chloe in the situation, and it's not going to matter anyway. So Real is actually just going to opt for that Protect. Icicle Crash is coming out, and we do actually see the outspeed here from that Sandslash with that Hail still being up, and it's going to be enough with that Icicle Crash to bring it down to 20 HP. Moltres is actually going to flinch, so that's massive for Real. And the Moonblast just going into, or the Muddy Water, I'm sorry, going into that Protect, and is going to be enough to pick up that KO. With that hardly living Sandslash here that was on the field is no longer there.
Yeah, so the choice to not, so like the flinch ends up actually not mattering because Calyrex protected itself and Feeny got the Muddy Water off, and I really like the Protect there. If in case your Calyrex is or like it gives you another chance to try to like figure out your position. If the Moltres is faster than the Sandslash, but it wasn't, and you hit the Icicle Crash. So now just Astro Barrage finishes the game, and there's unfortunately nothing Chloe can really do about it from this point.
Yeah, so I absolutely agree. Let's see how this plays out before I ask you what you would do. So we're going to see the Draining Kiss here coming from the Comfey. Is going to be enough to pick up that KO into the Moltres. I think we saw that it had about 20 HP left for the Moltres, so not a whole lot of damage to pick up there, but is going to be more than enough. We're going to see that Astral Barrage come out, +2 boosted into the Tapu Fini, more than enough to pick up that KO as well. So Roller Coaster, I ask you, what do you think Chloe needs to do here to adjust as she falls down 0-1 to Real AJGN?
I really think that the only thing that went wrong is not targeting the Sandslash in that first turn. Like, I think that Solgaleo had potential to survive a Astro Barrage based on having a +1 special defense and how little damage it took from the Sandslash, and then because of that you're in a much better position because Calyrex doesn't get to +2, you don't get double KO'd, and your Moltres has a chance to finish off the Calyrex super easily. So honestly, I would do the same thing, just target the Sandslash next time. Like, that's really the only thing where I think things kind of went south for Chloe.
So do you think that Chloe needs to kind of make the adjustments to get a little bit more speed control? I think if she doesn't find a way to outspeed Real's Calyrex ShadowRider, she's going to have a very, very hard time beating it, even if she does have resistant Pokemon out there, such as the Grimmsnarl or the Moltres. If she doesn't outspeed the Shadow Rider, I don't know if she stands much of a chance.
Yeah, and Chloe does have a Porygon, which is not only immune to Calyrex, but can reverse the speed order with Trick Room. So, and interesting enough, Real makes an adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this Vulpix has Icy Wind? I bet this Vulpix has Icy Wind.
I wouldn't be too surprised, but I do think that Real is free here to just kind of go for a nasty plot right away and kind of set up with that Moltres. The only thing that Chloe might want to do to kind of stop that Moltres from so quickly setting up would be to go for something of like a Bulldoze from the Spectrier straight out the gate and a max Rockfall probably into that Moltres. Assuming she has it. I actually hadn't really looked at the moveset a whole lot, but I know standard Solgaleo right now, or at least what I'm using, is the Rockfall Steel Spike with the Earthquake.
Earthquake. Your standard Solgaleo set will either be Sunsteel Strike, Rock Slide, Earthquake, and Protect, or Trick Room, and sometimes instead of Rockfall, they do Max Lightning to better damage Kyogre. Most just go for Protect here, just kind of like scout out what's going to happen to it.
Yeah, so pretty interesting there. We'll probably see an Aurora Veil set up here turn 1 from Real. That's what I would guess the kind of the more patient play was for. And we are going to see that Bulldoze come out right away from Chloe Spectrier, and it is going to be a Rockfall going straight into that. I wonder if this is going to do half. Wow, I'm just pulling it into Berserk range. That's crazy.
Yeah, dang, that's really good damage through Protect. And it's only scary if the Moltres is faster than the Solgaleo. And now the Vulpix can't set up Aurora Veil, which is another added bonus. So, I think the Chloe's in like still a really solid position. You can just Rockfall the Moltres again, assuming that it's just slow. You can actually even Steel Spike it if you want to go for the defense boost because of how low it is, and then just try to go for like a Shadow Ball or a Snarl into the Vulpix. That punishes something like Calyrex switching in, and then just try to capitalize off your momentum and then just prepare yourself for Calyrex coming in later.
Yeah, I think you really just want to get as many really you want to get as many Quakes off as possible to try and prevent that Calyrex from reverse sweeping you here in the end. As I mentioned before, if you don't have the speed control to slow that Calyrex down, then you're going to be in some trouble. And you could even go for a Quake in this turn here, predicting like a Calyrex switch in. But oftentimes you don't really want to switch in your Calyrex because it doesn't take too many hits, unfortunately. And we are going to see Comfey switch in here, taking the place of that Vulpix, and it's going to be a Dynamax from the Moltres. Do you think a Steel Spike is going to be enough to pick up a KO into that slot?
I would be willing to bet that a Steel Spike could KO a Moltres from that range. It's basically like full health if it wasn't Dynamax. Oh, tried to go for the double. Yeah. The only thing that's kind of, obviously not getting the double is probably looking like it's just going to end the game for Real. I don't think the Calyrex is going to be able to save you at that point. But what was I going to say? The unfortunate thing is that you don't find out the speed dynamics between the Solgaleo and the Moltres.
And I'm looking in the chat over here, and it looks like Amy has set up the current poll is who is your favorite Olsen sister? There's Ashley Olsen, Mary Kate,
Elizabeth. Elizabeth is my favorite Olsen.
Is that why she's asking that?
Yeah. That's just Elizabeth is in the Marvel stuff. If you ask my sister, she's a Mary Kate and Ashley girl because she grew up with them.
That's so funny. I like how they're paired together.
All right, so Calyrex does come in, and with how Solgaleo's taken like no damage at this point, I think it can very, very easily survive an Astral Barrage. But I bet this Comfey is gonna ally switch.
Yeah, Amy, the person who voted who.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Feel very old.
I told you it was gonna ally switch.
Astral Barrage is going to come out from Real's Calyrex Shadow, and it's going to be enough to pick up the Spectrier and do tons and tons of damage into the Solgaleo. Also getting that Grim Nay boost, more than likely going to be enough to pick up a KO. If this Quake doesn't do tons of damage into Calyrex, let's see if it's targeted correctly, and it's not. It's going to be into the Comfey, and the Comfey lives.
Hangs on, which is actually really annoying. So I saw that ally switch coming, but like it's always hard to make those calls when you're actually in the game. But if Chloe did bring the Porygon this time, you can just protect your Solgaleo, and actually Chloe has tons of options. You can protect Solgaleo and like Fiery Wrath, or you can protect Solgaleo and Trick Room. Like I think she's still really looking fine here.
Yeah, I think the optimal play in this situation. That just took try. Okay, can that take any of Calyrex's abilities? Is that possible?
Wait, what happened?
It was Trace, Porygon 2, and it took Triage from Comfey.
Oh, that's really cool. That's a priority recover on your Porygon 2. That's awesome.
But I do think that the optimal play in this situation is to just go for the Protect and the Trick Room here, and it looks like that is what Chloe is likely going for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just going for a little Draining Kiss chip onto the Porygon 2. Probably another Astral Barrage if I had to guess. Yeah, into the Solgaleo. And now, honestly, I think the best call might just be to Earthquake your own P2. Like, it's not going to KO. You really want to get rid of the Comfey this turn, and why bother like trying to read an ally switch when you could just do that? Mm-hmm. Or what would be even better is that you actually no, because that doesn't cover for Protect and Trick Room, but I think just Earthquaking again and hitting your own P2 is probably the best play that you can make.
Well, +2, I would imagine Rock Slide is going to be enough to pick up a Calyrex, right?
Oh wait, Rock Slide. I totally forgot. Well, you don't want to miss though. That's the issue. Like you don't want them to Protect and Trick Room. You don't want them to because like if Solgaleo goes down, you still have the Moltres in the back, and you can and like the only Pokemon they have left is the Ninetales. Yeah, Protect and Trick Room is probably what Real's going for.
Yeah, so you got to make sure you pick up a KO here into that Comfey slot. We're going to see the Eerie Impulse going into the Spectrier, but it's protected, and the Sunsteel Strike actually as well, probably just in case there was an ally switch coming out. Or no, that was an Earthquake.
Yeah. See, Earthquake kind of covers all your options there. Sunsteel Strike.
I don't know why I read that so wrong.
Sunsteel Strike and Comfey would have also kind of covered all your options too, because you still have Moltres in the back. But now, like, it's really easy. You just Sunsteel Strike. Actually, you just kind of Sunsteel Strike Vulpix and assuming that it doesn't have Protect. And Moltres just always wins against the Calyrex. Mm-hmm. And also it can't be Porygon 2 at this point, so you just recover and target one of them.
You could opt for the Protect from the Solgaleo and also Eerie Impulse into the Calyrex again here as well. Mm-hmm. I do think that might make it so you live next turn. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'm right on that or not, but I think I am.
Yeah.
From
Aurora Veil does go up. But like it doesn't really matter at this point because Calyrex is going to take like way too much damage from even just this Rock Slide, and I think Vulpix lives.
Calyrex actually flinches as well.
Yeah, and I mean like if there was any hope at that point, it's definitely gone now. Calyrex can try and double protect, but it doesn't get them anything. I just like you can Sunsteel Strike the Vulpix. And Eerie Impulse Calyrex. You can Rock Slide if you want to, and Eerie Impulse Calyrex. You can try attack. I think Chloe's got this at this point, and there's unfortunately nothing Real can do. Oh, okay. Vulpix does have Protect, which is really good information.
I never thought I'd say that a Vulpix Protect was going to be bad for somebody.
Yeah, I definitely would have thought about it.
All right, so we're going to see a double Protect here from Real. So let's see what Chloe opts for. It is going to be the Rock Slide here, and probably either an Eerie Impulse or a Recover. Mm-hmm. So we are going to see the chip damage come from the Hail, and it's going to affect everybody except for the Vulpix.
Yeah.
I think so. It affects Solgaleo as well, right? I think we saw that.
It affects Solgaleo. But yeah, again, like just Rock Slide and Eerie Impulse, and you're fine. Like I really don't think the Calyrex has a way to hit Porygon 2. Like you can try for a double protect, but it's really not going to help you. And I think even if you freeze the Solgaleo, you're fine. Okay, it's just
there you go.
Though.
You were right about the Icy Wind being there. Yeah,
Which
so doing some chip.
That do damage to Solgaleo?
It did reasonable, more than you'd think, at least.
It looked like it didn't move for a second, and crit on the Vulpix to end things out. And do you know what's about to happen, Nibs?
We're gonna see chat flood in with the Game 3 emotes for the first time in ATX VGC
history. We are gonna have a Game 3, and we can use our fancy new ATX emotes for Game 3.
I love that actually happened too.
Yes, we did it, team. Oh wow, there's so many immediately.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw some in there too. You ever said, okay, so now we're gonna see all this happen, and then just nothing happened, and it's like, oh, okay. So thank you so much, chat, for actually spamming the emotes there. I love that actually worked.
Yeah. So again, Solgaleo looks really, really strong in this matchup. Obviously, the Calyrex ShadowRider is kind of scary, seeing as how it matches up really positively. But I think that was something that Pato really considered when he was building this team, which is why Moltres is on it and why Porygon 2 is also on it. Having those things that resist it very well work it. And but Real has a lot of tools too, like Icy Wind, Aurora Veil, Ally Switch. It's gonna make it hard, and kind of need to make some reads into what's happening, or what Real's going to want to go for in order to win this game.
Yeah, I agree. I think Chloe played the absolute biggest thing, if you're asking me, is that Calyrex, and it seemed like Chloe played it really well there. You want to try and get Spadef boost from the Solgaleo, and you want to try and have the speed control on your side as much as you possibly can. But that can be hard to say, especially when the main thing that you want to do is lead with that Solgaleo and the Spectrier, when your only source of speed control at that point is Bulldoze.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that Real's only main thing that they need to do is chip the Solgaleo enough so that Alstra Barrage kills when Calyrex comes in. Okay. Is it going to be an ally switch? See, here's the thing. It's either going to be this is a genuinely hard ally switch to read, because it could either be a Draining Kiss self-proc to instantly one-hit the Solgaleo, or it could be an ally switch to avoid dying. Why does our scoreboard have tick in the middle of it?
I'm not sure. That's such a hard predict. Why? What else does this thing have to do? You're absolutely right. It's either the self-proc weakness policy with the Draining Kiss, one tick one. I think that was probably Gemma trying to type in Chase's emote, if I were to guess.
There is the ally switch. It just goes for it right off the bat.
There you go. You see it.
Oh, and Solgaleo didn't max this turn, so
Bulldoze Rock Slide. I was actually kind of thinking that just in case the ally switch did come out.
But the issue is I don't think that KOs Moltres and you lose your Solgaleo in the process, and you can also miss.
That's pretty funny.
Oh, and Moltres is just faster than the Solgaleo, which is hilarious.
Yeah, I'm going for that Airstream just to make sure that happens too. Actually, that probably puts it in range to outspeed the Spectrier now too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is. Wow, it is going to be that Airstream going into the Spectrier. Sunsteel Spike coming out, and I just realized I'm watching the wrong screen.
Okay. Now this is kind of scary because Moltres is probably just going to go for it's going to be Draining Kiss and Max Darkness into Solgaleo. And if I'm perfectly honest, unless this Moltres' life, it's weakness policy, that might not KO, but it is still scary.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I just go for the max steel spike into Comfey probably. They're gonna. I think Real is gonna ally switch here.
Really? Because you have the guaranteed speed advantage, so you can Draining Kiss and Max Darkness to the Solgaleo, and I think you're good.
Did we see weakness policy yet?
Yeah, we saw it in game 2. Yeah, here comes the Draining Kiss.
Yeah,
and
so
also, I can't imagine a draining Comfey Moltres team not having a weakness policy Moltres. Like, why would you have these 2 Pokemon if your Moltres didn't have weakness policy?
Why would you ever have Comfey if it wasn't for weakness policy proc? Like, you have it for that Absorb too. I agree.
Oh, wow! Specteria's still faster. That's really big.
Yeah, so that Moltres is going to go back down. I think it's to +2.
Mm-hmm. It's at +1 now.
And
Solgaleo barely lives.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be a big attack. Let's see if they predicted the ally switch or not. Rockfall is going to come out from the Solgaleo, and it was an ally switch prediction.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's pretty impressive there. Chloe was expecting the ally switch coming out from the Comfey, and that was not an Airstream or anything, so we're still going to see the same speed interaction, but my guess would be that we're just going to see a Draining Kiss come out from this Comfey into the Spectrier, and it'll probably be enough to take it out. You won't get any more special attack drops into this Moltres, and the Moltres, Amy, thank you for the sub, gifting the sub for Zordor. That was very nice. And it is going to be max guard.
Moral healing into the Moltres.
Interesting.
But the good news is Specteria is going to be able to pick off this Comfey, so you don't have to worry about it being annoying anymore. You still presumably have your own Moltres in the back. And more importantly, you have Porygon 2, which is going to do a really, really big job of kind of putting things back up in your favor. Ooh, and that was an Airstream too.
Yeah, I guess Real didn't really have to go for the Draining Kiss into the Spectre to pick up that KO, because assuming that assuming that Calyrex is the Pokemon that's in the back, it automatically outspeeds that Spectre anyway. So you don't really you don't need Comfey all that much anymore for much more than getting that floral healing off into Moltres. So Real taking a lot of advantage of the Comfey there, and the limited turns. And we're actually just going to see Glastrier come out.
Oh, it's the horse! It's the horse! It's the horse! Okay, so now my question is, how much does a +1 Shadow Ball do to this Moltres? Does it KO? I don't think so. Does it put in range of sand? Potentially. Ooh, I like that play a lot.
I did not see it, so I'm excited for it. And it looks like Chase is in our chat having so much fun with the emotes, lining them up perfectly in order. That was a great job, Chase. I'll give you props on that one.
Yeah. Oh, that's unfortunate. Will-O-Wisp misses. Fire Wrath picks up a double KO. This is actually kind of really bad now, because with the Glastrier here and your Solgaleo gone, if Moltres and Porygon 2 are the ones that you have in the back, which again, based on the way the games have been going, Chloe was super inclined to bring.
What does that do?
Wait, what?
Control C and Control V.
Oh, Jesus, so many emotes. Yeah, with both Moltres and Porygon 2 being the ones in the back and not getting that Will-O-Wisp off, things are looking really, really rough for Chloe, and I honestly don't know how she is able to win this. I think she's going to have to get a lot of flinches. Oh, but Porygon 2 copied Chilling Neigh, which is actually kind of cool, so maybe for Protect and get an attack off or get a KO with Trio Attack, you might be good.
I have never seen a Chilling Neigh Porygon 2. That's actually really exciting to witness. I hope we see it get KOs. And Moltres from Real here going to go for that Fiery Wrath.
That does a lot.
That does do a lot, and with the chance to flinch, it's not looking great from Chloe, but does break through that chance to flinch, and it is going to go for a Fire Wrath of her own. Eerie Impulse coming out from the Porygon 2 on Chloe's side of the field, going into that Moltres, so bringing it down to what I believe is neutral special attack status. And Glastrier breaking through that flinch chance as well, going for the Icicle Spear, and that is going to be enough to pick up the KO. Into the Galarian Moltres. So Chloe has one chance left here, and that's going to be the Porygon 2 here standing up against this Glastrier and the Moltres combination.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's still real. I mean, like, you did get the Eerie Impulse off on the Moltres. It is looking really rough. Oh, it looked like Chloe just doesn't see a way out, so she's going to forfeit.
Yep. I agree with that.
There was like a possibility that you could get it, but it would have been really, really difficult.
I think it was a non-zero chance. Absolutely. I don't think it was 1,000,000% over for Chloe, mostly because of that Eerie Impulse drop into that Moltres. Great game there from both of our players. We did get our first Game 3 action of the night in our set 4 here from Chloe and Real. Real picking up the win.